Hello everybody, welcome. I'm No02. This is the third video for the duos, Nightmare, Team Comp, Duo Comp, right? If you haven't watched the other two, you don't have to. I'm going to repeat myself here for you. These decks are built around the idea that we're going to be playing with two bots for teammates. We are going to somewhat use that to our advantage. In some of the decks, some of the videos, we use that to our advantage where we cut out two things. We get two things reliably from the bots. We get stamina, because almost all of the bots will eventually run mandatory PT, and we get ammo. Yes, ammo. So most of these decks we're not going to run any extra ammo cards for the most part. And that's not a hard rule, but for the most part, that's what we're getting here. Also to say, these decks will work with other teammates who happen to be human as well, right? Like, you don't have to do duos and have bots for teammates. But the reason why I approach it from that angle is that, assumably, hopefully, bots are sort of like our standard, our rock bottom standard, our control group. If these two decks work with bots, then they'll work with human beings. A random player's job is to be better than a bot. And I think for the most part that's true. Keck. Right, so let's get into the deck here. This is Act-3. And in the other previous decks, we had Offensive Scavenger and Support Scavenger in all the decks, and had them relatively early. Notice here that we have Share the Wealth and Hazard Pay. Double Grenade Pouch, Cross Trainer, Superior Cardio. First 5 cards is Further Afield, our first mission here. I find that Act 3 is not the best campaign overall for the support cards. Cabins by the Lake is kind of nice for offensive and support scavenger because every single one of those cabins has potential spawn points for bandages, pills, and throwables. But like Further Afield is not a great map for it. I find that Blazing Trails is not a great map for it. What else is there? Garden Party is not a great map for it. A Friend in Need doesn't seem to be super great for it, though it seems A Friend in Need's okay. Making the Grade is okay as well. Road to Hell okay-ish, and then Body Dump it doesn't really matter at all, right? So I just feel that we're looking for consistency here because we're building up to T5, right? That elusive, scary, everyone hates it T5 mission. So we have consistency here with Share the Wealth and Hazard Pay. Keep in mind that if we have two bots for teammates, Hazard Pay is better because on online mode, you don't get the money from the bots. So if you give Share the Wealth to the bots, that's extra 200 copper that just they hoard. And you could, in theory, do the super meta thing of like periodically killing your teammate, having a defib, kill your teammate, have your teammate take control of the bot, have the bot drop all of their money. The bot will have like 3,000 copper plus, and then revive your teammate and continue on. You could do that in theory, but these decks are not built around that idea. Built around, you can do whatever you want as far as that goes, but built around the idea of having consistency, using what's readily available to us. So Share the Wealth and Hazard Pay, giving us an extra 350 per map per player. Double Grenade Pouch, you know why, because dealing with mutations is the hard part, so grenades will kill the mutations. But this player is going to be running pipe bombs eventually. So up until this point, this character can run pipe bombs or flashbangs, whatever you prefer. Whatever you and your teammate seem to struggle with the most. Flashbangs are great for mutations, as well as bosses, and pipe bombs great for the horde if you get caught out in the open. Cross Trainer Superior Cardio. This player is going to be running the house. So this player is going to be building up, essentially, to that idea of that they're going to be running around the house wildly trying to find all the crates. But notice here, we have Safe Room Recovery. One more economy card here that we're just trying to squeeze out. Fitting in enough movement-based cards before T5 is really not a big issue here. But ideally, by the time we get to T5, we want maybe upgraded grenades, Upgraded razor wire. Green wire, great, because you get the extra 2, like double, it basically like triples in size, right? You want green razor wire. You want enough razor wire to fill up the staircase or the entryway to the house, and maybe the steps outside and things like that. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of just going razor wire crazy. You don't have to have 8,000 copper worth of razor wire and things like that. You can get away with 10, less 5. I think really you need 2 for the staircase inside, 3 for the actual doorway, and 4 for the little bend that goes like around when I'm not going to explain it too much, but anyway, you can really get away with not having that much wire if you don't want to. Regardless, though, I know other people really like it, so that's why we have the extra money. And then safe room recovery. We do pick it up, we pick it up just as early as we can here. So basically, going in the blazing trails, you and your teammate are going to be recovering extra trauma, extra health. Now, there is a bit of a silly side to this. At the beginning of each level, if your health is below a certain percentage, the bots will heal you. And so in that sense, safe room recovery, we're running an extra card that will essentially be accomplished by a bot on occasion. But again, it's not reliable. If you're finishing these missions relatively healthy, then the bots aren't going to do anything. They'll just stare at you with their bandage and their med kit that respawns infinitely, and they'll just do nothing with it. So again, we're just adding consistency here to our economy. Because I find that in the other missions where we sort of just rely more heavily on the bots to do things, T5 is a map where the bots are not going to be reliable at all. So let's do everything in our power now, building up to it, to have ourselves the easiest T5 possible. Safe room recovery then is going to help save money as far as healing and trauma healing. Health is a very expensive resource, but again, we're just cutting the corners here. We get 1 card, it benefits both teammates, it's stagnant, it's reliable. We don't need to buy anything or use anything to get value out of it. It just happens. So extra healing, extra trauma recovery. The ammo we don't really care about because the bots are going to give us all the ammo in the world. Then we get Speed Demon. This deck is going to be running an SMG. And hopefully with an SMG and 2 bots, you don't ever have to run out of ammo, so shoot away. But we want maximum movement speed here. We have Cross Trainers, Cardio, Speed Demon, and then we're going to get Run Like Hell at T5. We get Fire in the Hole at 8, though, for Garden Party. Just because once you're inside the maze, sometimes the only thing that separates you from getting out of the maze and getting into the safe room is just having enough resources, enough health to brute force your way through it all. You know, if things go south and you park yourself in a corner and you have to hold off the horde all by yourself, having the extra temporary health from throwing things on occasion will take that edge off, essentially. So if you're throwing pipe bombs or flashbangs at this point, just temporary health. Really, really nice. Very, very flexible. There's a lot of potential for splash damage in the maze because you're so confined. So if one person gets puked on, chances are everyone else is going to get puked on as well. So just the extra temporary health will take the edge off of all the little bit of splash damage that you're going to be taking. And then we get Run Like Hell. I think Run Like Hell is a great card to have for T5. We are sort of cutting a corner here by not having more reliable speed or having an extra movement speed. We could have Fleet of Foot instead of Fire in the Hole, but I think this is more flexible, more healthy, going to be more consistent in a way here. For the most part, when you're running around the house, I would recommend that you go look at my walkthrough as well as my playthrough for T5 so you can see the exact route that I take when I'm running up and down in that house. Because if you do it correctly, for the most part, there's going to be almost no zombies around you. Almost no zombies around you, because the other players are on the staircase, they're holding off the horde for you. So you actually get a lot of time to yourself on T5 when you're the runner. So having that extra 4% movement speed here with Run Like Hell is going to be really, really nice. Shaving off a little bit of time getting all the crates gathered together and things like that. Then we pick up Cold Brew Coffee. It's a nice flexible card here. Extra reload speed with the Speed Demon so that we can reliably make our Our SMG is going to be more reliable as far as dealing with the horde and things like that. But also the use speed is really, really nice by the time you get to body dump, because opening up the crates for the T5 grenades takes a little bit of time. This will take the edge off. Now we just get pockets. Super duper flexible. Ultra flexible. Extra shoulder bag to carry more supplies. Surplus pouches for more supplies. And then fleet of foot when we get to the body dump. Once you beat T5, you're going to be rolling in the money. You should have just all the money in the world, because share the wealth and hazard pay, more than enough money to just do all the things. You don't really need upgrades at this point now. It would be nice to have extra offensive upgrades to kill the ogre with the grenades right at the end, but not necessary. Not necessary, so buy all the things that you want, fill up your bags and things like that, and etc. Because when you're running through the body dump, one player will be having grenades, the other player will have pipe bombs. This is the player that will have pipe bombs. So just buy your pipe bombs, use them stingily, right? Be smart about them, don't use them all the time, because standing in the right place is just as good as a pipe bomb when dealing with the horde. But we are going to want all of our pipe bomb pockets filled when we get to the body dump, because you're going to basically be burning 1 to 2 pipe bombs per nest, essentially. Of course, remember too that if you stand still, the bots do more as far as shooting things, so hopefully as you're rotating around the body dump, killing the nests, you basically just want to throw a pipe bomb for your escape, and then you get out of there, and the bots will follow you without anything hurting them or chasing them, things like that. And etc. But we also have fleet of foot here just for the movement. Body dump is a huge arena, the biggest arena in the game, so having extra movement speed is going to be really, really nice as far as navigating that arena and being able to basically avoid all of the danger totally by yourself if you need to. Well fed, if things go wrong, you get extra health for you and your whole team, and then box of bogs, you know what I mean? We pick it up here because every time you reset, you get a little bit of extra money. So if you're tight on cash, hopefully by the time you get to your 15th card, the extra money that you've acquired from resetting the mission will result in you being able to afford an extra healing item, things like that. So just maxing out our pockets for the whole team. Now this is the deck that I had the most hard time with. I tried to figure out the best way to hold off the stairs essentially by yourself. The conclusion that I came to is like, I'm sure that there might be a better deck than this. I'm going to admit that. There might be a better deck for what we're trying to accomplish here. But I also want this deck to be still flexible and still work when you get the body dump, because we can cut out cross trainers and superior cardio, but then we're sort of scrambling to get enough damage on our grenades as well as other stuff ready in time by the time we get to the body dump. I don't know. It just felt weird not having this deck be flexible. All my decks are flexible. You know what I mean? All these decks can do yoga. Share the wealth, hazard pay, cross trainers, and then superior cardio. Notice here that we don't have any support cards. No support cards. The only support card we have is the safe room recovery in the other deck. Well, that's it. We're cutting all the corners. Every single one of these missions, from further afield leading up to T5, we'll have a toolkit room. Use the toolkit room if you need to. You should always have a toolkit on you, at least one of you. If you don't need the healing, if you're not worried about the extra supplies, run past it, whatever, it doesn't matter. But toolkit rooms are super essential. Rely on that for your healing. You're going to be relying on the bots for healing, so hopefully with safe room recovery, one of you gets to skip the medicine cabinet and maybe the other player still gets healed by the bots anyways, things like that. But we're cutting all the corners here as far as support goes, because once you get to T5, having a support character is not the hugest deal in the world. Not the hugest deal in the world. I mean, it is nice. It is nice. Don't get me wrong, it's nice. But This player is going to be standing on the staircase for T5, and so we're building up to this idea that they're going to be on the staircase, but not necessarily forever. They're going to be holding out for as long as they can. The issue with T5 is that the bots are going to be your big variable. Best case scenario, both bots are standing on the staircase with the player who's doing that. And I'm sure there's maybe a more reliable way to get the bots to stay there, but it's really hard to figure out how the bots are choosing who they want to stand next to. But essentially, if both bots are following the person who's running around the house, at some point that player should just go back to the staircase, hang out for a little bit, and then leave. And then hopefully the bots will stay on the staircase. But essentially, if the bots stay on the staircase with you, you'll have access to ammo, and occasionally they'll throw things, and that'll be quite nice. But this is all about our grenade economy. And other than Highwayman, there's no real reliable way to get extra grenades. So if you have extra money, piggyback a couple of extra grenades in the T5. When you get to T5, you're going to have 8 grenades, so have 4 grenades, so maybe have 8 or 12 available. It's going to be all about grenades. If you have the bots next to you on the staircase, it'll just be about your grenades. Share the wealth, hazard pay for the money. We want a quick slot upgrade, maybe an offensive upgrade eventually, things like that, but we just want to have enough money to have all of our slots filled by the time we get to T5, a little bit of wire, things like that. Cross Trainer Superior Cardio for our basic foundation of movement, double grenade pouch, and then Bomb Squad. Card 6 is Blazing Trails. We have Bomb Squad here so that when we're in the holdout part of the infested swimming pool, our grenades will blow up tall boys, no problem. Then we get in the zone. We're building up now into being able to deal with the horde all by ourselves, and in the zone is a great card for doing that. Get those headshots, no problem. Reload super fast, you're golden. With this deck, we're going to be running. I recommend you run the AR with this deck specifically, just so that if you do get a nice Scar or AK-47, and if you can get stumble ammo onto it, you can then reliably stumble Reekers and Stinger variants as well. Which is why we recommend an AR for this deck, but we don't actually run any cards specific to AR. Grenade patch for the extra pockets, and then mandatory PT. So this is what I meant by the flexibility here. Card 9 is... Where's a card 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, card 9 is mandatory PT. Or card 9 is mandatory PT for T5 mission. The way we have this is, one, this is going to help your runner be more successful. They'll be able to run for longer and, in theory, be able to pick up crates faster and take less pressure off of you because they're getting the crates done faster. You are... I'm filming a lot of videos tonight, so I'm losing my voice. We are preparing to abandon the staircase if we need to. If things go wrong and the bots are running all over the place, trying to stand by you, trying to chase the player who's running the house, the bots end up dying, you're all alone on the staircase, eventually you'll run out of ammo and you'll run out of grenades. Right? So essentially the idea is you're using your AR for everything. Just use your AR, your AR, your AR. Once you run out of grenades and you run out of AR ammo, you're abandoning the staircase. And you're going to join your teammate in running around the house to pick up crates. In fact, if you get to that point where both of you now are running the house, I recommend highly that one of you starts putting crates into the truck. Because when one player leaves the house and they're outside, they start splitting the aggro for the zombies. So some of the zombies that are inside the house or near the house or running into it, they'll stop going into the house and they'll chase after that guy. And hopefully that'll help make the house feel more vacant, so that the other player who's still gathering crates inside the house will have an easier time doing so. Sort of, you get like a pseudo effect as far as it's a pseudo effect as far as like having a player still standing on the staircase. We don't actually have that, but we can still split zombie aggro by having one player running outside and another player running inside, essentially. So we have mandatory PT, just a flexible way that we can help our teammate run the house, and if we end up needing to run the house, we can do so. We're not super great at it, we don't have any extra movement speed, but we can sort of get away with it if we need to. So this is us preparing in a nice, flexible, safe way that we too can abandon the staircase and run around as well. Cold Brew Coffee, nice flexible card, use speed for the T5 grenades when we get there, but also just reload speed overall. Very, very nice to have. Improvised explosives going into a what's it called? Making the grade. Just preparing our grenade damage. Fire in the hole for Road to Hell. The other deck gets fire in the hole sooner. The reason why, right? Right. But I actually really like picking up fire in the hole later on if we can. This deck will be doing that here at Road to Hell. And again, fire in the hole is a great card for body dump. It allows you to throw T5 grenades and heal and run faster and things like that. But it's also a nice card to pick up on Road to Hell. Just because once you're at the very, very end and you're running around, you're running through the gates of Road to Hell to get to the final safe room. There's going to be zombies all over you. You're throwing a pipe bomb. Those zombies get taken care of, but then there'll be like tall boys in front of you. This will allow you to throw a grenade, stun the tall boy with the grenade explosion. You get the speed boost, and then you can just sprint around him, get around that corner. So basically, one grenade per gate will give you enough movement speed to basically get to the button really quickly. And at this point, both players will have it. Both players will be able to do it, so just hit the button. You're both sprinting. He throws a pipe bomb. You throw a grenade at the correct thing. You stumble it. You both fly through the explosion because you're cool. You're at the next button. You push it. You turn around. You're shooting. And then you just rinse and repeat for the second part as well. And then going into the body dump, grenade training. Just flat, simple, just grenade damage, accessory damage. Just nothing sneaky here. No glass cannon. Keep ourselves nice and healthy. No confident killer. Nothing to build up to. We just want solid, reliable, consistent damage. Even if it's not necessarily the most damage possible. We just want to stay healthy and be able to play with our teammate. At this point, it would be nice to get offensive upgrades to some degree, right? You sort of want maybe blue grenades if you can. Purple is amazing. Green, bare minimum. If things go wrong and people end up dying, I would, again, recommend watching the walkthrough video for the body dump, as well as the playthrough for it if you're having trouble with it. We have On the Mark here because this is the only map in the game where On the Mark truly makes sense from a strategy point of view. The body dump mission is you need to kill 3 nests and then kill an ogre. And I find that it's so much easier that once you drop down into the body dump part and the ogre on the bridge spawns, that you can just run past that ogre. So if you open up the safe room door on your mark triggers, 30 seconds is just enough time for you and your teammate to sprint. Through this map. This should be lead a foot. To sprint from the safe room door all the way to the bridge and then run past the ogre. Then you can start popping the nests, and then that ogre from the bridge is the ogre that you kill. So I've found in the past that if you kill that bridge ogre and then you pop the nests, a second ogre spawns. You have to kill the ogre again. We're not going to have the damage or the resources to do that, because our way to kill the ogre is going to be some grenades. 4 grenades with this character here, right? So 4 grenades and maybe some T5 grenades and things like that, right? So we're going to be tight on our grenade usage. Super duper tight on it. So if that strategy suits you, On the Mark will allow you to do that. And then Fleet of Foot for extra movement speed if you need that as well. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Let me know if you find success, or if these decks are fun, or if they work, or whatever. Chat, comment, let me know. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And I'll see you in the future.